Arrive on your mat and create an intention for your practice today. Maybe it's to trust that you have what you need for the practice, or maybe it's showing up with gratitude that you arrived today, or maybe you would like to dedicate your practice to someone that might need a little love right now. Send your intention when your mind begins to wander back to that intention. It didn't make sense, did it? Let's start over. Cut. Good morning. Welcome to your 30-minute practice. Today's focus is going to be the energy condom. What the heck is that, Trisha Jean? Let me tell you. If you work in a business that you touch people, you might find that at the end of the day, after hearing about this one's divorce, that one losing their job, the struggles this one's having with their teenager, you might find, as much as you enjoy that conversation, at the end of the day, you feel depleted. And there's a term that massage therapists have taught me called energy transference. And that is when we absorb, or some people might call empath, the energy of the people that we are touching. And a very wise mentor of mine once told me to put on my energy condom. That's what we're going to do today. When I say that, I mean to energetically imagine a barrier of space around you. In the beginning of your workday, step into that energy barrier. And at the end of the day, wash that energy condom away from you. And you might find it can be a better way to manage the energy connection that you have with your clients or with your customers or whatever your work is that involves touching people. So come to your practice, arrive on your mat in a cross-legged position. If you find that your knees are too high above your hips, you might find it to be beneficial to put a little something under your sit bones to create some height. I often like to have a pillow just behind me so that I can tactically feel the connection. When I arrive on my mat, I have a ritual that I like to bring a yummy cup of tea with me. And that helps me to transition my mind to here we go, we're going to practice now. When you arrive, close your eyes, expand your breath to the farthest edge of your physical body. Without entering into a technique of breathing, just breathe. And clear the thoughts that are dancing around your mind. Push them aside for later. You can think those thoughts later. Just be here in your space. You find yourself settling into your natural breath on the mat. Find your ujjayi breath. And what that is a small constriction in the back of your throat, as if you're breathing in and out of a straw. As you exhale, imagine that you are fogging up a mirror or a glass. That constriction you feel, that is your ujjayi breath. And by focusing on a more concentrated breath through your nose, inhaling and exhaling, it allows you to slow your breath and expand it longer and fuller, which allows the breath to spread more throughout the cells of your body, head to toe. When we get into difficult practice, our physical reaction most often is to grip or grasp or fight, struggle in whatever we're doing. And one of the benefits of a yoga practice is to learn to find ease in those struggle moments, whether it's a physical or emotional challenge that you may be facing. Coming back to that intentional ujjayi breath, it's kind of a reset for your mind and your body. So with your eyes closed, rooted through your sit bones, expand your breath to the furthest edges of your space. With every inhale, create space in all the joints in your body. With every exhale, gently pull your navel back toward your spine and support that space with your core. With every inhale, relax your belly and create that wide, beautiful space for your breath to spread. Exhale. Strengthen your space. Support your space with your core. Energetically, reach your leg bones out of your pelvis as if you're lengthening your legs a little bit longer. Activate your feet and widen your foot bones. Lengthen your toes and retain that energetic and active foot throughout our whole practice today. Activate your hands. Your calm jazz hands. Broaden your fingers, broaden your palms, and keep that activity throughout our practice today. Relax the muscles in your ears and your jaw, allowing your jaw to slightly part, relaxing your tongue along the top edge of the back of your teeth. With your next inhale, reach your left arm straight up toward the sky. Jazz fingers. And bring your right hand to the ground just outside of your right hip. And gently pull your hand toward you on the ground to help increase the length that your rib cage is lifting off of your pelvis as you reach your arm across the midline of your body. Those sit bones rooted as you lengthen your trunk and create more space along the outside edge of your side body. Relax your neck down. And if it feels good, you can turn your nose toward the ground. Feel a really nice stretch along the outside edge of your neck. Continue to check in with your active feet and your active hands. And continue to check for creating space with your breath and supporting your space with your core. And take your jazz hands and imagine that you are drawing a big rainbow with your fingertips, leaving your neck relaxed. Draw your rainbow to the outside edge of your physical body and stop when your hands are about 6 inches off the ground. Your palm should be about parallel to the ground. You might feel a really nice stretch across the outside of your neck. This is neck release pose. Lick your lips and slide your jaw back and forth, helping to release the tension you may have in your jaw. As you exhale, bring your torso upright and use your hand to help guide your head back onto the spine. Let's change the cross of our legs. Take a breath to settle into our new space. Inhale, reach your right arm toward the sky. With active hands, bring your left palm to the mat next to your left hip and reach across your midline. Relax your neck. The seated side bend creates a nice amount of space in your side body, your intercostal muscles, and your rib cage. Continue to lift your rib cage away from your pelvis, creating length in both side edges of your body. Lick your lips and slide your jaw back and forth. If it feels good, you can turn your nose down toward your mat and look at your hand. Flip your jazz hand forward and draw your rainbow back down, about even with your hip, 6 inches off the ground for neck release pose. This is a nice place that I like to explore the different edges of my neck, lengthening and changing the direction until I find that sweet spot that my neck might need just a little bit of extra love. Check in with the activity in your feet and the space that your leg bones are reaching away from your pelvis. You can bring your torso upright using your palm to help lift your head back atop your spine. Come onto our hands and knees. And do a simple tabletop pose and allowing your navel to reach toward the ground and your tailbone to lift behind you. Pull the mat gently toward you as you arch your back and draw a line with your nose directly ahead of you. This is cow pose. Draw your nose back down and push the mat away from you with your hands. As you arch your back, pull your navel back toward your spine. Look towards your navel. Cat pose. Inhale, reverse direction. Pull the mat towards you and energetically pull the inner lines of your arms toward one another. Shoulders down away from your ears as you slowly, deliberately arch your back. And change directions, pushing the mat away from you, drawing your armpits toward one another, pulling your navel high, and arching your spine toward the sky. Cat pose. One more time. Change direction. Deep inhale. And change direction. Cow pose. Exhale. Come back to a neutral spine and walk your hands about 1.5 palms forward, all the way to the front edge of your mat. Walk your knees back a couple inches. You're nice and extended. Right here, I want you to bring your focus to the palms of your hands and lengthen your fingertips and connect them to the ground, almost as if you have sticky little frog fingers that are going to climb up a tree. Now turn your arm bones as if you're pointing your elbows up toward the sky, your inner elbows. And pull your armpits toward one another, activating the muscles in your lats and your chest muscles around your armpit. With that strong pull towards the inner leg line, I want you to bend your elbows toward the ground. If you find that this is too much activity on your knees, come up and fold the edges of your mat in to create a little bit of extra space, a little bit of extra softness under your knees. You can also press into the tops of your feet, and in doing that, it'll take a little bit of lightness on your kneecaps. We'll come back to our turbo puppy. Broad palms suctioned to the mat as if we're about to climb up a tree, and push the mat away from you. Pull your armpits toward one another, soften your elbows, and reach the tops of your arm bones toward the mat. This is a really broad and strong motion across your shoulder blades. Relax your neck down and send your breath across the backs of your shoulders in this really active pose. Broaden your breath and focus on your soft Ujjayi breath. Straighten your elbows and bring your hands back under your shoulders and your knees back under your hips. And let's curl your back toes under and come into a short downward facing dog, keeping your knees bent. Again, broaden across your palms. Suction your fingertips to the mat as if you're going to lift your palms. Use this shortened bent leg position to pedal your feet out and create a little bit of a stretch through your feet and your ankles and your calves. When you feel you've gotten just what you need there, walk your legs back a little bit longer to a full downward dog. If you're not sure if you're in the right spot, rock forward. You should be in a comfortable plank position. And come back to downward facing dog. Let's come down to our knees. Sit down on your knees, your hands down alongside your legs, and bring your forehead to the mat to a nice, Child's pose. Feel the breath across the tops of your shoulders and allow your shoulders to hang down toward the mat. I don't know about you, but for me, this feels always like a really nice letting go of the shoulders where I hold so much of my tension during my workday. Come up to standing on your knees. Activate your hands and reach your palms to the outside edge of your space. And now, this is the magic. Grab that imaginary condom with your fingertips and bring it up as far to the edge of your space as you can create. And reach your arms and pull that condom all the way up over you. Connect your hands in the center and pull your palms down toward your heart. Bring all of that warm loving right into your heart. Big inhale, exhale. Your next inhale, let's do that one more time. Reach your arms wide to the outside edge of your space and wrap yourself energetically in that energy condom. Pull that energy down and into your heart. Exhale, nice open mouth exhale to let go of that extra junk hanging around from the day. One more time, inhale, broadly wrap your space, make it as big as you can. Pull it together in your palms and pull that warmth down to your heart. And sit back on your heels. Let's give our wrists just a couple rolls to prepare us for the time we're about to spend on our wrists today. Reach your hands directly out in front of you with your fingertips toward the ceiling. And one finger at a time, reach your pinky and pull it in towards your palm. Your ring finger, your middle fingers, your pointers, and your thumbs. Wrap your thumbs around your knuckles and then drop your knuckles toward the ground in front of you. You should feel a nice stretch across the tops of your arms. And let's do the same thing out to the side. Reach your hands directly out to the side as if you're pushing the sides of the room away from you. And as you exhale, exaggerate the lengthening of your fingers. Reach them as far as you're able. You wrap your thumb around your fingers and then soften your elbows as you point those knuckles down toward the ground. And let's come to standing at the top edge of our mat. I'm about 8 inches below the top of my mat. Come to a nice standing position. Bring your attention to your feet and rock your weight around to all of the edges of your feet, lifting your toes, broadening across the widest part of your foot. And find that center point that feels like you are strong. Root those feet as if you're the roots of your giant tree trunks. And stretch them into the ground, both physically and energetically. Stand with your pelvis aligned, which might mean your tailbone is going to point down behind you slightly. Your navel softly pulled back toward your spine and your heart reaching slightly toward the sky above you. Bring your shoulders up toward your ears and draw them back and down. And turn your palms open. Get those wide jazz hands. Last, reach the top of your head, reach your crown toward the sky above you. And gently pull your chin slightly back. Feel the strength and the power in this mountain pose as you send your breath to every edge of your physical space. Your legs are active. There's space created in the joints of your ankles and your knees. With every inhale, lengthen the space in those joints. And with every exhale, support that space with your core by gently pulling your navel back toward your spine. As you inhale, soften your belly. Expand your breath. And with every exhale, support that space and pull low belly back. Your next inhale, reach that energy condom up toward the sky and dive forward with soft knees, forward fold. Allow your head to relax toward the ground below you. Your fingertips are soft on the ground. And rock around just like in your mountain until you find that power point in your legs. Broadening your feet, activating toes, energetically reaching the roots and the soles of your feet through the earth below you. Allow your trunk to relax on the top of your legs. If you can't quite feel that, soften your knees a little bit until you can. One of the benefits of a forward fold in yoga is gentle compression of the organs, which helps the detoxification process. Spend a couple breaths here, just rocking around on those feet, enjoying that nice compression, your belly into your thighs. Soften your knees a little bit deeper, tuck your tailbone, and pulling your belly back, just roll up one vertebrae at a time. Reach your arms wide toward the sky above you. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your left leg back behind you. Fold your mat if your knees like that extra support. And bring your knee down and then bend over the top of your foot onto the mat. And again, before you come upright, gently press into the top of your foot and feel the lightness that happens in your knee. A gentle engagement of the glutes and that back leg will also help. Your next inhale, reach your arms toward the sky above you, low lunge. Press into your right foot, which will help you to create space in your pelvis as you lift your rib cage away from your pelvis, lengthening your torso and reaching your arms toward the sky above you. Every inhale, create space and lengthen the distance that hip flexor is stretching in your back leg. Continue to keep a gentle compression of that left glute and a slight pressure on the top of your back foot. Keeping these poses active is what allows you to gain strength and space. Your hands back down either side of your front foot. Allow your mat to flip over. And step back to plank pose. You can come down to your knees on this first one and make sure that you are in a nice solid plank. Spend a couple moments here to check in with your alignment. Reach your thumbs toward one another. Reach your elbows and the inner lines of your arms towards one another. And as you lean forward and come down into chaturanga, Bend your elbows and imagine as if you were about to put your rib cage on your top of your bent elbows. Lengthen your spine, reach your head towards you, and find strength in your core to help lower down. We're going to keep working on that until we can get that full chaturanga position. Take a deep breath and press into the tops of your feet and notice the connection, your pelvis and your hip bones onto the floor below you. And bring your hands so they're alongside your ears. Press into your hands and gently pull back as if you're going to lengthen your spine. And one vertebrae at a time, pull your spine longer, lifting forward. It's not as much of a curl up as it is a lengthening forward. So come back down, bring your hands back down alongside your rib cage, curl your back toes under, and press up to tabletop and all the way through to downward facing dog. Check in with your hands. Check in with your arms or your armpits pointing toward one another. Your shoulders down away from your ears and wrapped around toward the floor. Reach your heels toward the ground and use the strength of your back legs to help lift your pelvis a little higher toward the sky. Inhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Flip your mat over and come back down to your right knee and the top of your right foot. Take a moment here to check in with your alignment. Press into your left foot, almost as if you're about to stand. The top of your back foot, your right glute. When you find all of that strength and support, come up to your knees first, then reach your arms toward the sky. Lift your rib cage off of your pelvis and reach your heart toward the horizon ahead of you. Soften your shoulders and relax your neck. Bring your hands back down either side of your front foot. Back, lift your back knee off the ground and rock back and forth, giving yourself a little momentum to step forward all the way into forward fold. One extra breath here, again softening your knees until you feel that gentle compression in your organs. Soften your knees. Using the strength of your core, roll up one vertebrae at a time with your head being the last thing that comes up. Roll your shoulders up and back and down. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to speed it up a little bit on this one. So your right foot back. Bring your knee down, top of your foot, and reach toward the sky. Low lunge. And hands down at the side of your front foot and step back to plank pose. Come down to your knees one more time. Find the strength in your core. Point your shoulders forward as you bend your elbows and bring your rib cage top your bent arms. Press into the top of your feet and your hip bones as you bring your hands forward by your ears and pull the mat toward you as you lengthen your spine and reach your head forward. Cobra. Exhale. Your hands alongside your rib cage, back into tabletop and downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward between your hands, left knee, foot down, and reach toward the sky. Hands either side of the front foot. Rock forward, stepping forward into forward fold. And roll up, reach sky. Bring your hands together and pull that energy into your heart. Take a breath here to feel the openness in your hips and shoulders from that little work we've just done. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Step your left foot back and plant your foot at about 45 degrees. Your toes reaching toward the side of your mat and your heel reaching toward the opposite back corner. Your heel should be about an arch alignment. Bend forward in your front leg. This is warrior two pose. Reach your arms out toward the side, either side, reaching them just far to the edge of your space as you're able. Press into the outside edge of your back foot, bringing the contact to all the edges of your feet. Lift your rib cage off your pelvis, creating more space in your trunk. And bend your knee and sink a little bit deeper until you find the spot that feels like a spot you can hold on to for a few good breaths. Check in with that front foot and make sure that you can feel all the edges of your feet and that you are gently pressing into the mat to help create lightness in your knees. Lift your heart toward the horizon ahead of you. One more deep, wide, expansive breath into your space. And cartwheel your arms back down either side of your front foot and step back to downward facing dog. Take two nice breaths here, thinking on your alignment. Are you using all of your hands and your feet, energetically spreading the mat apart? Relax your neck and send the energy from your crown to the spot between your hands. Lengthen your spine and shine your tailbone to the sky behind you. Strengthen and activate the muscles in your quads and your calves to create a nice, strong foundation that allows your pelvis to lift a little bit higher. And inhale, step your right leg forward between your hands. Plant your back foot 45 degrees. Heel to arch alignment. Ready, cartwheel your arms up and reach them out directly to each side. Reaching your leg bones away from your pelvis and intentionally creating contact with the outside edge of your back foot and all the corners of your front foot. Lifting your rib cage away from your pelvis, creating more length across your upper shoulders. Bend your front knee and come a little bit deeper, but don't allow your torso to lean forward as you do that. Keep your torso upright and notice the space that happens not just in your inner leg, but in the outside edges of your hip, especially this corner right here. As you lift your torso, deepen that leg, feel a little bit of extra space right here. Tuck your tailbone down toward the ground and pull your navel back, creating a nice support for all the space that you're making. Cartwheel your hands back down either side of your front foot and come back to plank pose. Press into the mat and you're almost doming your shoulders above you. My legs are very strong and very active, almost as if I'm reaching my heels toward the wall behind me. Using my core, I'm going to tip forward on my toes, turn my elbows in, and slowly, keeping my shoulders pointed forward, lower down, chaturanga. Pressing to the tops of my feet and my hip bones, bringing my strong kneecaps slightly off the mat. I'm going to pull my spine long, lift a little bit higher, cobra. Exhale, lower down, your hands back along your ribs, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees and look between your hands. With your next inhale, pull yourself forward and step forward to the front edge of your mat. That's eventually going to turn into a little hop forward. Soften your knees, roll up, and create that wide energy condom around you. Clap your hands together and gather up that energy and that love and bring it right into your heart. Let's come back down to seated position. This time, bring the soles of your feet together in Baddha Konasana. As you bring the soles together, energetically imagine, it's a better way to put that you are pressing your feet together. When you do that, it causes you to reach your leg bones out a little bit longer from your pelvis. Feel that space. It's not a strong move. It's a very subtle move, but it's very opening in the hips in my experience. My toes are active, my feet are still broad, but I'm gently pressing my feet into one another. As I do that, I feel also a little tiny bit of engagement in my glutes around the back of my pelvis. Taking my disco fingers and putting them on the ground directly behind my hips, like a little tripod. And with that space I'm creating in my pelvis, using that tripod, I'm going to lengthen my spine and reach the length of my spine and my crown to the sky above. Take a couple deep breaths here, expanding your breath all the way from your pelvic floor, through your abdomen, up the back of your spine, across the top of your skull, right out into the world around you. Again, with every inhale, open and expand the space of your physical body. And expand that energy beyond your energy condom and share that good, happy love to the world around you. Every exhale, pull that core in a little bit tighter and support the space that you're creating. Now, use your hands to help your knees together. And let's come onto our back. Lie on your back with your knees bent. Your feet are about hip width apart, just far enough away that you could almost brush the backs of your heels with your fingertips. As you exhale, curl your pelvis as if you're reaching your tailbone toward the backs of your knees, and begin to lift your spine off the ground. You'll feel a lot of strength required in your quads and in your glutes and hamstrings as you press your pelvis up toward the sky. Now imagine a bridge between your pelvis, your pelvic floor, and your heart. Create a little bit more height in that bridge. Leaving that height, reach your chin a little bit higher and lengthen your spine, the back of your skull just a little bit longer. I'm not clasping my hands. I'm leaving my arms very relaxed, and I'm allowing my lower body and the strength of my glutes and my quads to keep everything up here, allowing the muscles in my shoulders and my rotator cuff and my neck. I'm allowing them to stay very relaxed and actually kind of appreciating a little massage that the ground is giving me on that part of my body. Is my butt burning? Yes. Yes, you will be feeling this very actively throughout your lower back, your glutes, your quads. Press into your feet and feel that height getting just a little bit higher. Now, one vertebrae at a time, lay your spine back down on the ground, keeping your tailbone reaching until you get all the way to the bottom. Then let that bad boy go. Feel that beautiful space in your abdomen and that warm sensation in your glutes and quads from the work they just did. Leaving your left foot where it is, bring your right foot up and cross your ankle over your left knee into a little figure four position. Reach your hands so one goes between the hole and the other goes behind your left knee, and reach your hands to pull that left hamstring a little bit closer toward your nose. Keep your upper body relaxed, except for a little bit of strength that your biceps are using to pull your leg in. Leave your neck soft. Your feet are active. And if you're not sure whether or not that's important, this is a great spot to feel it. Let your foot relax, let it kind of sickle down, and pull your leg in just a little bit and feel how that feels on your right knee. Now, activate your foot and imagine that you're reaching that foot toward the wall next to you. And now pull your arm in and feel what that does for that stretch. Doesn't that feel much fuller and much safer on the knee? This is another good spot that you can imagine sending your leg bones out away from your pelvis. Spread that breath all the way through that right hip. Relax your left foot down, uncross your legs, and let's switch sides. The left foot will activate, press toward the imaginary wall on the other side of the sole of that foot. The left knee will flail open just a little bit as you bring that leg forward. Reach one hand through the hole and the other behind, and clasp right on the back of your hamstring or behind your knee. Both feet are active, both feet reaching as if they're standing on a ground. Send your breath into that hip. And if you are beautifully open in your hips and this feels like nothing at all to you, you can take it a little bit deeper by bending that knee and reaching to the outside, fully on the knee, And pull that a little bit closer. If you're still not feeling it, you can lift your head and shoulders off the ground and reach your nose toward that knee. And that will make it a little bit deeper. I don't love that last version without a really nice core warm up, which we did not do today. So I'm going to keep mine right here. And kind of let that go. Push your arms out at about 45 degrees and lengthen each arm just a little bit longer. Tuck both knees in towards your chest and just using the strength in your core, pull your knees in a little bit closer and kind of rock side to side, feeling a little bit of a massage on your lower back. I think it feels great to make some circles each direction and really use your core to make this motion. And it can be pretty hard when you're first getting the feeling. When you feel satisfied that you've had a nice little sacral massage there, bring your feet down one at a time. Toe, ball, heel. Toe, ball, heel. And then slide your feet out one at a time. Make any last adjustments that you might need to make so that you feel really centered on your mat. This is Shavasana, or corpse pose. Close your eyes and bring your attention back to the intention that you made for yourself at the beginning of our practice. Let go of the technique of Ujjayi breath and allow your body to breathe softly and naturally in its own rhythm. You find your mind wanders, it's okay. Bring it back and bring your attention to your breath. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the earth below you. And as you inhale, you might feel that there's water waving through your body like the ocean. As you exhale, allow your body to sink deeper and deeper into the earth that's supporting you. And you can allow the sound of your breath to sound like the waves in the ocean. And bring some activity into your toes. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. And roll your wrists softly. And reach your hands above you. And a nice long stretch in your body from your toes to the tops of your fingers. And roll to one side. And use your arm as a pillow for your head. Take a breath here on your side and in this position of softness. Using your top hand to help press your torso upright. Allow your neck to stay relaxed as you sit upright. When you reach the top, take your bottom hand and help to lift your head. so your neck can stay relaxed and soft. Your eyes closed. Bring your palms together in prayer position with your thumbs gently lifting your sternum and your heart a little higher. Your elbows softly reaching out a little bit wider. And bring your palms to your forehead as a reminder to think kind thoughts. And bring your thumbs to your mouth as a promise to speak kind words. And bring the thumbs to your heart as a reminder to live with love. You can softly bow your eyes down toward your palm and give gratitude for showing up for your practice today. I'm grateful for the time you've spent with me. Namaste.